All right, Wayne Allen Root, the Root's on fire. Welcome back to the show. Joe Gruters is with us, chairman of the Republican National Committee. I guess you could say, other than President Trump, that would make him the most important Republican in the United States of America. That's a pretty good title, Joe.
Hey, thanks, Wayne. And listen, you probably have never met me before, but I used to watch you from afar as the original OG on the Trump campaign. Back in 2015, I was the Florida chairman with Susie Wiles in Florida, and I would watch you all the time on TV, go to bat for the president. You did an amazing job that first campaign, and so I've never forgot everything that you did. You did an amazing job.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And of course, I thank you because I had my 65th birthday party last Sunday. It was Wayne Root Day in the city of Las Vegas, and I had a beautiful letter from the president and a beautiful letter from you as the chairman of the Republican National Committee, thanking me for all I've done for Trump and MAGA and the GOP. And this is what I've done my whole life. I've bled for the GOP my entire life. I love the GOP. I don't love rhinos, but I love the GOP, and I love what at least what's the right way I want to say this? What it thinks it is, freedom and capitalism and economic freedom and personal freedom and secure borders and lower taxes and less regulations. That's what it should stand for. I think that's what it does stand for. But there's a lot of Republicans that unfortunately kind of when push comes to shove in the Senate, they don't vote for those things. But I agree with all the things the Republican Party stands for. I wish they would stick with them more often. But I love the Republican Party.
Well, listen, the president has transformed our party. We're a new party today, and you're a big reason why. And so, yeah, you should be celebrated. And the president's done an amazing job. And I think after November, when we get some of these new MAGA warriors in place of some of these old holdouts, I think we're going to be able to do a lot more.
Good. So look, if you've been watching my show, and you don't have time to do it now, but if you've been watching my podcast and my 2 TV shows on Real America's Voice TV and my nationally syndicated radio show, I got a lot of stuff going on every day, hours a day. The number one thing I talk about almost like nonstop is election integrity. And I don't believe, I know that elections are being stolen. I've always felt they've been stolen. I've said this for 10 years now, by illegal aliens and by giving illegals driver's licenses in 19 states plus Washington, D.C. They're automatically registered to vote. And if I was an illegal alien, you automatically registered me to vote, I would vote. And that's what they're doing. Of course that's what they're doing. Because if they vote Democrat, they get to stay. And they get big welfare checks. If they vote Republican, they get kicked out. So of course they're voting. And of course they're voting Democrat to save their own hides. So we need election integrity. We need proof of citizenship. We need voter photo ID. And I keep saying, I wish they'd pass the Save America Act, but it's really too late, and it doesn't really go far enough, in my opinion. It's kind of weak. I think we need a national security emergency for elections designated or declared by President Trump. I've argued this on TV for months now, almost every day for the last 4, 5, 6 months. National security emergency. And Joe, you don't know this, but in 2019, Trump had been president for like a year and a half. And I said we need a national security emergency for borders because Congress wouldn't give him the money to build the wall. So I sent President Trump this idea that he could do a national security emergency for borders, and that would allow him to grab the money from the Pentagon defense budget to build the wall and go over Congress's head. And this is the same thing. It's a national, and it worked. And this is a national emergency, national security emergency for elections, which would allow him to get all the same things in the SAVE Act, plus many more that would secure our elections and go right over Congress's head, right over the Senate's head. And you can't legally challenge it. Democrats can't take a national security emergency to court. The only way to beat it was a 2/3 vote in both houses of Congress. I don't know if you've heard about this idea. I don't know if you know it was my idea. I don't know if you believe in it. I just wanted to get your take on it.
Listen, I think it's a great idea because you're exactly right. They have been cheating. The Democrats cheat every single day. As a matter of fact, people always ask, what do we spend our money on? We have over 155 lawsuits active right now from coast to coast, 36 states, trying to stop the Democrats from cheating. I think we filed 2 new ones today. And it's because the Democrats will stop at nothing. that hold on to power and control. They know their grasp of this is losing because of their policies, and that the president has stolen, like, the average American worker out there who's been abandoned by the Democrats and Washington elitists over the last 5 decades. And so they do want tens of millions of illegals to come across the southern border, and they do want them to vote because that's their only way to win. But they cheat every day. We stop them. I mean, we have court victory after court victory, but they keep on trying to cheat, and we keep on suing. We'll continue to sue. And we drop the hammer everywhere we can. But it's not just litigation. You know, I would give credit to Laura Trump and Michael Whatley with the 2024 election integrity program that really stepped up the game big time. And we're going to follow that up in this 2026 cycle with over 6,000 attorneys, tens of thousands of volunteers all across the country. We have new election integrity grassroots chairs and grassroots chairs across the country within our existing framework. We're trying to do new things. I don't know if you know, my background is I've spent 24 years in the minor leagues of party politics doing the basic building blocks of building our party by registering voters and turning those voters out. We got to do that at a nationwide level if we're going to be successful, and I think we're well on our way.
Well, people don't understand, you know, we got cheated in 2020. I have no doubt in my mind Trump won in 2020. And by the way, the biggest reason I know that, Joe, and I say this all the time, nobody is ever willing to answer me. How did 5 states stop the vote at the same time? How did they coordinate on that? How did they know to do that? And then how did they say, let's stop it till the morning? And then they sent all the witnesses home. And then they started counting at 3 in the morning. And when he got back at 6 in the morning, they hadn't stopped the vote. They kept counting. And suddenly Trump was behind when he was ahead by hundreds of thousands before that. When no witnesses were in the room, suddenly hundreds of thousands to 0 went for Joe Biden. So I know they cheated, but people don't realize, how did we change it in 2024? You're looking at it. The Republican National Committee, you guys are doing a great job. You did a great job in 2024. You're going to do a great job in 2026. And I'm a big bettor, Joe. I live in Vegas and I make bets. I'm betting that we're going to win the midterms. Even though every poll shows we're losing badly, everyone's losing faith, I believe we're going to win the midterms. I have great faith in President Trump and you and the Republican National Committee to stop the fraud. And without fraud, I don't believe Democrats can win an election.
Wayne, they don't let me bet on the predictive markets because I'm an insider, but I can tell you and tell your listeners, if go to Kalshi or Coinbase or Robinhood, any of those sites, go and bet on us winning the midterms because, listen, don't take my word for it. Go to the Cook Political Report. That's a nonpartisan website. We'll tell you exactly where the races are. Because the Democrats have gerrymandered for the last 3 decades, and what we did over the last year and a half, there's very few competitive races. As a matter of fact, the Cook Political Report says there's 19 toss-up races. They're giving us 212 races to start. That means we need 6 of those 19 to hold on to the majority. And we have better candidates, because the president has endorsed a lot of these MAGA warriors who are fit for the district they're running in. We have the resources that we need to be successful. We're doing things that have never been done before, like the midterm convention. I call it Trumpapalooza, to highlight all the amazing things this president has done. And then we're going to go barnstorm the country with the president, just like what he's doing today in Michigan. We're going to hit these competitive districts. He's going to once again bring these low propensity voters out. And we're going to defy history only for the 5th time in 150 years. And we're going to do that by bringing together our voters as a united faction in our efforts to win the people over with general common sense versus the crazy and communism radical leftists that the left are putting up. I mean, they've given us a great gift. We're going to take advantage of it. So yeah, you're right, Wayne, to bet. I would tell your listeners to put some money on us because you could go on your next vacation for free.
I made a big bet in 2016, and I think it was 8-1 odds, if I remember correctly, on Trump. So I made a fortune, and I made a fortune in 2024 with a big bet on Trump, but I lost a fortune in 2020. And I got to tell you, Joe, because I'm a betting expert, I was watching the betting as it happened live on my computer in 2020. Trump started the night as a slight underdog to Joe Biden, and then within minutes he went to even. Then within minutes he went to 2-1 favorite, 4-1 favorite, 6-1 favorite, 8-1 favorite, 10-1 favorite. It was over. And at that moment, that he was 10-1 and the betting numbers were telling you the race was over, Trump won, that's the moment where the 5 states said we're stopping the counting, and it immediately dropped down to 2-1, and then to Biden a favorite again. And I said, oh my God, they've stolen the election. You could see it in betting terms on your screen. Nobody's ever been 10-1 and lost in the history of any election, Joe. So Trump, looking at the numbers late at night, was a 10-1 favorite, running away with it when they stopped the count. That's the key, how everyone knew that a steal was coming, and all of a sudden, all the betting money came on Biden at that moment. I'm telling you, they knew the steal was in.
Yeah, they knew, and they cheated, and they continue to cheat because they believe the end justifies the means, and so they'll do whatever it takes. But that's why we have to be vigilant and alert and be willing to drop the hammer every single day, which is exactly what we do.
All right, good. Look, I'm so happy to have met you, because now that I talk to you, I know that we're in good hands, because you are the right guy to be doing this, Joe. I could see it. I could feel it. I'm a gut instinct guy. I made thousands of predictions on this show, and I've never been wrong. I'm batting just about 1,000, and you are the right guy. Thank God we have you in that position. And I think we're going to win the midterms. I feel even better about it, so I'm going to make a bigger bet now. Let's talk about the Democrat Socialists of America. So I've got a commentary coming out tomorrow. I read it on the show to start the show today. And, look, I believe in free speech. I've always believed in free speech. Everyone should say what they want to say. You could be conservative, you could be liberal, you could be independent, you could be Democrat, you could be Republican. But I don't believe communism is free speech. I think communism is anti-Americanism. Communism, where the DSA says out loud they want to kill the Constitution, they want to end police, and they want to end prisons. I'm telling you, communism never ends well. It's evil. It ends in mass poverty. It ends in mass murder. It ends in mass torture. It ends with a knock on the door in the middle of the night and they drag your husband away and you never see him again. Communism should be banned in America. I think Trump should declare the DSA, Mandami and his friends, the Democrat Socialists of America, he should declare them, designate them as a terrorist organization and enemies of the United States, communism as an enemy of the United States of America. I don't think we should allow these people to run for office. They want to destroy our country. It's suicide.
Well, they want to fundamentally change our country. It's basically a coup from within. But the crazy thing is 50% of the Democrats are in favor of this. But this is what happens when you have Mandami and AOC and Bernie Sanders in control of a party. These guys are radical leftists, and they're winning these races. They've inspired all these cuckoo birds from around the country to run, and now they're winning. They're winning these seats in middle America. And but the good thing is they're giving us a lot of favorable matchups. But the bad thing in reality is this is what the Democrat Party has turned into. And I was talking to Newt Gingrich. He was in my office this week, and we were talking about the fact that we both think that the Democrat Party is in a death spiral. I don't know if they could pull out of it, because I think they're going to go, they're obviously controlled by these radical leftists, and they're going to continue to go further and further away from middle America and where I think people want to be. And so, yes, and you could believe them when they say it. I mean, their chairman or vice chairman was just on TV saying they want to get rid of the border, they want to get rid of the U.S. Senate, get rid of the U.S. Supreme Court, and I think the presidency, get rid of ICE, get rid of all criminal penalties and getting rid of jails, amnesty for all. I mean, think about how crazy and moronic that these guys are actually saying it, and they're getting people to buy in. But it goes to show you that we have to do a better job of messaging and making sure that people know that common sense is still alive and that everybody has the chance to achieve the American dream. But it's through these policies that the president's pushing, like the working family tax cuts, no tips on overtime, Social Security, and tips. And he's really gone to bat for the American worker. And you're not going to see all the trillions of dollars that he got people to invest in the tariffs and these fair trade policies, which help us. You know, you say, okay, short-term price increases maybe. But it creates jobs, and they're finally bringing jobs and things back to America. We shipped our jobs overseas for 5 decades.
Right.
Gutting the middle America. We got to do a better job. This president has a second chance at life after Butler, Pennsylvania, and he's taking full advantage of it and trying to do everything he can to make sure America survives for the next 250 years.
You'll get a kick out of this. So I'm a son of a butcher. I'm an SOB, son of a butcher. And my dad, the butcher, was a very common sense guy, and he was one of the original founders of the New York State Conservative Party. When there was no such thing, he founded it in 1962. I was born in 61. He founded it in 62 with a group of renegade Republicans who said we're not conservative enough. And my dad had a saying in those days. And the saying works today. I'm telling you, this is how we win over the middle class and working class. My dad, all those years ago, said, the Republican Party isn't the party of the rich. They're the party of anyone who ever hopes to be rich or hopes their children to be rich. And it was funny because I said that on Fox News in 2012, and the next day Mitt Romney on his presidential campaign quoted me and said that exact line. And I'm telling you, it works today, Joe. We are the party of working class and middle class because you can never, ever become rich if you don't believe in capitalism and economic freedom. And we're the party of capitalism and economic freedom. It's the only way to rise above. It's the only thing that gives you mobility.
Amen to that. You're exactly right. And that's the message we got to get out there to the American people.
Yeah, and I saw President Trump quoted the other day that Democrat cities are going to be the ghettos of the future. I've been saying that for a long time. You know, when you see all the people moving out of blue cities and blue states, and they're all moving to red states, we've won this battle, but the media won't say it out loud. We're winning the communications battle. You can't say we're losing when everyone's leaving California, New York, Illinois, and they're all running to my state, Nevada, or Texas, or Florida, or Tennessee, or South Carolina. We must be winning because everyone is saying, I got to get the hell away from these people. Even when it's a beautiful state with sunshine and beaches and palm trees, they're running away from it to the desert in Las Vegas because they can't stand the liberal politics and the taxes.
And that's why the Democrats are in the death spiral. You just hit the nail on the head because the Republicans are fleeing these blue states, and we're going to win We're going to win this midterm cycle. We're going to defy history. We're going to win in 2028. We're going to have a census without non-citizen voters included.
Right.
And this migration that's happened to the red states, it's going to produce another 30 to 40 seats.
Correct.
And these seats are no longer competitive. It's over for the D's. We just have to do our job. We have to come together. We have to believe as a party and stay united. And although there's some holdouts in the Senate preventing the president from getting some of these policies done, once we get past November, we're going to have enough MAGA warriors to do things like pass the Save America Act, to get rid of the filibuster, to do things that are really going to set our country up for the future.
I don't agree with you 100%. I agree with you 180%. But the problem is we got to get by November. In other words, Democrats know that, Joe. They know that if we win in November and we keep up the mass deportation and keep the border secure and make elections fair and have integrity again, they're never going to win again. But if they can win in 2026 midterm and then win in 2028, it's the exact opposite. We're dead. So we've got to get to 28, win it, and then change that census to have no illegals in it in 2030. We'll dominate for the rest of all time. But we've got to get there. So this is the key. Midterm is the whole ball of wax, in my opinion.
You're exactly right. That's why losing is not an option.
Not an option.
We're going to win. We're going to win by doing things differently. The president knows what's at stake. You already saw what happened during the shutdown. And there's going to be investigations. There's going to be obstruction. There's going to be impeachments. It's going to be disaster. It's going to be chaos. That's what they want. We can't let it happen. We have to win. We have the candidates in place. We have the money. We have the messaging. We have everything we need. We just need people to come together. Tell everybody that's watching this program or listening, go to GOP.com. Get involved with your local GOP, your local Republican Party. Give us your time and treasure and help us save the world, because we're not just saving the country. We're literally saving the world.
The media isn't even reporting, by the way. Last thing, and then I'll let you run. But, your counterpart with the RNC, Joe Gruters, the chairman of the Republican National Committee, the counterpart is the DNC. They're bankrupt. They're completely bankrupt. They have no money for this campaign. They're mortgaging their headquarters to try and get a small loan that still doesn't compare with the money that you've raised in the RNC. So this midterm, when they claim Democrats have got it, it's locked, that is just not true.
Yeah, what a bunch of morons. It goes further than that. Not only did they mortgage their building, they're having their officers sign NDAs because they don't want them to talk about money. Supposedly, they're asking their vendors to hold them until after the election. These guys are living in a pipe dream. But besides the fact that we have a massive advantage, we have the most cash on hand in the history of the Republican Party. Wow. Number one. Number two, with the Supreme Court ruling on coordinated campaign limits that came down 2 weeks ago, that makes our money 3 times as valuable. We are now able to directly coordinate with all these federal campaigns. Never been done before. Nobody's talking about it. It's the biggest thing to happen in campaigns in decades. We will be able to directly coordinate with our candidates, and we'll be able to spend at the candidate rate, which makes our money worth 3 times as much. We have to win. We have to obliterate these guys. Losing is not an option. We have to have everybody come together for the greater good and to support this president.
And that's the argument I make every day. There's a lot of people in this party and a lot of my fans and I do a lot of interviews outside of my own shows and a lot of hosts and a lot of podcasters. They always have something negative to say about Trump. I don't agree with this. I don't agree with that, or I don't agree with something. And I go, but do you understand the alternative? In the end, I said, it's like a woman who has a choice of marrying a guy who isn't perfect versus a guy who's like a wife beater and he murdered his last 2 wives. Would you take the guy who wasn't perfect? Would you take the murderer? There's no choice here but to vote Republican. I don't care if you disagree on 1 issue, 2 issues, or 5 issues. The Democrat Party is a non-starter. You can't vote Democrat because you're voting for communism. You're voting for radical Islam conquering the United States of America. You're voting for open borders and a foreign invasion. You're voting for transgender, your son and daughter, to change their sex. You're voting for insanity. There's only one choice. We got to win the midterms. You got to literally, no matter how much you disagree on 1 issue here or there, you've got to vote Republican as a team. We have to stick together. Floor is yours. Last sentence.
100%, Wayne. We got to come together. It's common sense versus crazy and communism. Join us. Give us your time and treasure. Go get involved with your local party. Let's do this for the president so we can serve a full 4 years. The best is yet to come. And thank you for all you do, Wayne. Really appreciate you.
I'm fighting hard, man. I'm fighting with everything I got. I'm fighting like a cornered Wolverine, Joe. That's the way you got to fight. Like your life depends on it, as I say all the time on this show, because it does. It really does. The future of your children depends on us winning the midterms. GOP. Go GOP. Thank you, Joe Gruters. You're the best.
Thank you.
God bless.